Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up. Okay. Y'all heard it? All right. I turned it up some nice.
code in A-Game's formula.
3, 2, 1.
What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and we back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Shout out to everybody who support the platform. Much love, much love. Salute to everybody that is in the building right now. Shout out to all of the visionaries that are here. Salute to everybody that's in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way in. Make sure y'all hit that like button on the way in for me, family. Make sure y'all hit the like button. After y'all hit that like button, make sure y'all hit that share button. Go ahead and share the show. Share it on your community tabs, your Discord servers, anywhere that you share content. Make sure you share this video. It's very important that you make sure this show gets out to the people. I appreciate the support. I appreciate all the visionaries out there. Shout out to the A-Game Nation. Shout out to y'all. We're back here on Sheep Stay Sleep TV, and I'm your host, DS1 Ross, of course. And today's topic, the most important things that Black men need to have. The most important things Black men need to have. We're going to get in it. We're going to get into it today. But before we get into it, also, if y'all haven't yet, make sure y'all go and check my premiere that I dropped a few hours ago. Make sure y'all go and check that out because, as y'all know, it ties into today's show. So let me get over here to the chat room and let me shout out all the supporters that are here before we get into the show. Shout out to my brother Sir O in the building. Salute. Shout out to Sir O. Shout out to Ty's Crazy-ish. Shout out to you, love. Appreciate it. Shout out to Larry Vaughn in the building. Salute, bro. Appreciate you. Salute to my brother Shango Zulu in the building. Salute to my man Suavemente, aka Third Ward in the building. Salute. Shout out to my brother Po Boy Films, man. Salute, family. Appreciate you. Shout out to Mace in the building. Shout out to everybody that's in the clouds. Salute to y'all. Y'all see today's show. We're going to get into it. The most important things Black men need to have. Now, if y'all been following the show, shout out to Alonzo Hall in the building. Salute. Salute to Asar. Peace to you, brother. Salute to you. It's Akuma. Peace to you, family. Shout out to Miss Queena in the building. Y'all coming through, man. Appreciate y'all. Like I said, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure y'all share the show. Now, as y'all know, lately I've been speaking on what's been coming down the pipe for Black men. As far as this whole new emerge of the variant, put that in quotes, that is supposed to be here already. You know, a lot of people are getting sick again, and it looks like we might be going into another lockdown. So lately, I just been trying to keep brothers up on what we really need to be focused on. You know, I've been letting brothers know how important it is now to prioritize our lives. At if we waited however long, we need to start now. See, because the environment is changing. You see, our biology has already changed. Our biology has already changed. The culture has already changed. Now the environment is changing. This is a full cycle of the process that we call biocothyron. This is what happened with the pandemic. You see? So now you, as anybody can see, just drive down to your local downtown area and you can see the homeless black men, the jobless black men. You can see it. Every day you turn on your phone. If you turn your phone off, and you get the alerts of black men dying, black men being killed. The environment is changing. This is why I said yesterday, we have to begin to prioritize things, put things in its proper perspective. It's time to put our lives in its proper perspective. Now, if you choose not to do that during this time, just understand what's going to happen to you. Just understand what's going to happen to you. Shout out to Heel Zen. He said, working on healthy spirit, heart, mind, and body. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that, family. Appreciate you. But we have to begin to do this, fellas, because how it's looking for us looks like a nightmare. Because there's a lot of black men right now currently living that nightmare of not having nowhere to go, not knowing where to go, not having a family to go to, not having a place of employment. A lot of them are dealing with health issues with no insurance because they don't have a job. You see, these are the things that are currently plaguing black men. And with this environment changing, it's going to start whipping our asses. I'm going to just be blunt. It's going to start whipping our asses. That's what's going to start happening. So we have to begin to understand, what are the important things to us? What are the things that are most important that we need? And I've narrowed it down to 4 things. I narrowed it down to these 4 things. These 4 values. These 4 values. Now, of course, in the 10 life value system, right? We have 10. But on today's show, I'm going to speak on the most important ones right now, currently, that you definitely need to be focused on, because the environment has changed and it's going to get worse. If we go into a second lockdown, it's going to be worse for us, brothers, especially you single brothers, especially you brothers that are by yourself. It's going to get tougher. So the first value that you must have, that you must hold dear and near to, is the first value, which is spiritual value. Spiritual value. See, in this period that's coming, and if it don't come, we still need to work on this. Brothers, we got to stand on the knowledge of who we are. We cannot waver from who we are. The knowledge of who we are is paramount in this time. With us going and them leading us into this metaverse stuff, spiritual value is going to be prominent, because that is the key. That once they open that door of you losing the knowledge of yourself, they can then take you anywhere else that they want to take you. And in the metaverse, you can be whatever you want to be. You see? You could be anybody but who you really are. So, brothers, spiritual value, the knowledge of oneself, the truth has to be paramount in your life. That reigns supreme over all. See, because if you're not standing on truth, you're not standing on nothing. If you're not standing on truth, you're not a man. See? If you're not being true to yourself, you're not a man. If you're living a lie, then you have to understand why you're reaping the results that you're reaping in your life. You have to understand this, brothers. Spiritual value is paramount. Don't never lose sight of who you are. You can get everything else back in life, but you don't want to spend your life trying to find yourself. You don't want to spend your life doing that. So let's get that established and hold near and dear to that. See, because in case y'all didn't know, in the 10 life value system, spiritual value and wealth value, which is number 1 and number 10, they're anchors. This is why it's spiritual value is number 1. It's an anchor. You see? You can't skip 1 and go to 10. You can't get to 10 without getting to 1. Without getting past 1, you're never going to get to 10. And this is why they say what it is to gain the world and for a man to lose himself. What it is to have all your accomplishments that you got out in the world, and then for you to come back and not know who you are. See? What type of life would you have then? What type of life would you have then? This is why in the 10 life value system, when it's flipped backward, you get the loss value system, where now, as a man, you're standing on lies. You're standing on lies. You're building on lies. You see? You see? And this is why you have a lot of people in this world who are tangibly fulfilled, but intangibly unfulfilled. Hence, where you get the statement, the empty suit. This is a man who possessed the external and not the internal. This is a man who decided in his life that all he needed was his external things and not his internal things. This is what happens to us, brothers, when we think that we don't have to stand on truth. So that is the first thing that we need to have. And we need to prioritize as Black men. Stand on truth. Stand on truth. Don't run from it. Don't deny it. Stand on it. And if that's not what you're standing on, then stand on whatever you stand on. You see? See, because what we can't do as men is neglect who we are and then try to blame somebody else for it. That's what we can't do. We can't blame somebody else for our own neglect. We can't do that. We can't do that. We can't say that we're leaders and then we look for somebody to dump blame on. This is why if you stand on truth, if you stand on the knowledge of oneself and you're anchored in that, then you would understand why number 2 is important, which is your health. Which is your health, brothers. Now, when we're talking about health, we're talking about our physical and mental well-being. Not just our mental, but our physical also. This ties into how we care about ourselves and about one another. You see? If you care about yourself, you would take care of yourself. Now, brothers, am I sitting here saying you have to master these things? No. But you work on these things every day. Because what's coming down the pipeline, these 4 things that I'm talking about today is going to keep us alive. It's going to keep us alive and it's going to keep us functional, not stagnant, but still headed toward our goals. Because see, I'm already knowing that if we do have another lockdown, we're going to have a whole heap of entertainment content. And that's cool. We lock down, people want to laugh, people want to have fun, because this is what happened during the first lockdown. But what we didn't have is we didn't have content for men to come and to draw from as far as survival skills. See, brothers, if we're going to survive, we got to be healthy. We got to be healthy. And what do they say, black man? What is the number one silent killer? Stress. Stress. Something that black men deal with on the regular. Stress. A lot of us are stressed because of what? Our current situations. Our current situations. A lot of us are dealing with child support issues. A lot of us are dealing with job issues. A lot of us are homeless. A lot of us can't get jobs because of our records. A lot of us is trying to fight not going back and forth to prison. And then we still got to wake up every day and dodge and duck from getting exterminated somehow because of the constant threat of extinction. And if you're homeless as a man and you don't have no solutions or nobody that you could listen to for any type of advice, I mean, come on, it's like you're a sitting duck. You could easily be killed out in the streets because you're homeless. And then you could easily be killed by the police. You could be arrested, anything. Or you can just die on the streets from being out there in the weather. See, this is the stuff that we need to be talking about as men. See, because with these types of things that black men are faced with, this ties into black men's mental health. A man who's living outside in front of a goddamn train station every day, I'm pretty sure his mind is not stable. I'm pretty sure he's dealing with mental health issues. You got to go and use the bathroom outside. You got to find somewhere to hide to clean yourself. This can drive a man crazy. This is why you see homeless black men doing things to people. Because of the mental health issues. See, because remember, the process of biocothyron, it changes us biologically, it changes us culturally and environmentally. So, y'all think the pandemic didn't drive some black men crazy? It did. It did. It drove us crazy. Dudes don't want to wear masks everywhere they go. Then some of these dudes, they done took the, they done took the jab. So who knows what that maybe could be doing to some men mentally. And then because of it affecting the environment the way that it did, a lot of black men are homeless now. That could drive you crazy. There's some men who are homeless now because their family died from COVID. Whole families dying. Mother died, aunties died. So now you homeless because your whole family died. Mental health. And it's already been scientifically proven that most people are emotional eaters. We don't eat based on how we think. We eat how we feel. And that is because we were not taught how to deal with our emotions. So we're emotional eaters. So this ties into the physical part of health. We're emotional eaters. We eat out of emotion. We eat how we feel. That's why we eat feel good food, comfort food. That's why it's called what it's called, because we're eating out of emotion. You see, this is a health issue, a mental and physical health issue that's going to get worse if we go into a second lockdown. It also goes into number 3, which is our dwelling. Our dwelling will be affected. A lot of couples, a lot of marriages were broken up during the first lockdown. A lot of people ain't together no more. They homes became hellholes because the people in the house were going crazy because they were so used to following what? A lost value system. To where now you got to be in the house and you have to be functional. You got to deal with your kids every day. You got to deal with your wife. You got to deal with this. You have to deal with that. And you have to do it every day now. Some brothers don't know how to establish order because they grew up not having SOS. So with the children at home, you working from home, the children doing school from home, your wife working from home, your dwelling is erratic. Your dwelling is erratic. It's erratic. Why? Because you're not even used to being home and taking care of home. You see? You used to being at work and just paying for home, not actually taking care of home, not actually dealing with the people in the home. See, because that's what makes a house a home. The quality of the people. If it's peaceful or if it's hell on earth. And during the first lockdown, a lot of our houses turned upside down. There was no peace. There was no peace. Why? Because your house, just like your life, black man, was being led by this. That's why you had no peace in the house. That's why all you and your girl was doing was arguing. You storming out the house. She slamming doors. You wonder why this, you wonder why that happened, right? Because you didn't think that was important, brother. Because the lost value system which is promoted as the winning value system, tells you, oh, it's okay. Don't worry about your house. You got a big house. You paid for it. Doesn't matter about the quality of the people that's in there. That doesn't matter. But see, during the lockdown, that was exposed. See, that was exposed. You see? It shined a light in on relationships, family, what's going on in the house. And it didn't look good. And it is because when you follow the lost value system, your priorities are not in order. You're doing things backward. You're living a backward life. That's why the things that you've neglected are the things that end up being hurt the most. Your spiritual, your health, your dwelling, and last but not least, we're going to go into education. Why Black men need to focus on education. Not focused on if hoes are winning. You see? We don't need education in that. See, while it was a lockdown, brothers should have been learning something new. You should be educating yourself on something. Why? Because when you educate yourself, you add new skills to your repertoire. You add to your resume. You become more resourceful. You see? Not only to yourself, but to your family and to other brothers. This is the reason for education. You see? You become more resourceful when you're more educated. You could do more. You know more people. You have more access. Education gives you more access. It puts you around the right people. It puts you in contact with the right people. So we need to be focused on learning new things, brothers. Not learning how you could get a girl even if you don't have a jawline. See, that shit is not important. Worrying about if she gonna ever find her husband, that shit is not important to you, brother. See, worrying about shit like that now, I have your ass homeless. It'll have you homeless. That's what it'll do. You should be working toward educating yourself. Am I saying go back to college if that's what you want to do? But educating yourself is simply reading more. Reading more. Because you have to educate yourself in order to keep growing and developing. See, this is why you have spiritual value in the 10 life value system, which is the knowledge of oneself. And then you have education. Which is the knowledge of the world and how you can use your education to be more mobile. See, being more educated grants you mobility, which is value number 6. You can move around when you know more. And when you move around and you're more educated, you make more money. You make more money. So educate yourselves, brothers. If there's something that you're aspiring to be, get more educated in it. Like right now, I'm behind the scenes studying a lot of stuff, learning a lot more new things, dealing with what I'm doing. And shout out to my man Kuda, because Kuda always spoke about this. When he was telling us we need to learn the equipment, learn how to use it, learn the programs. That's education, brothers. If you're a YouTuber, you should be educated on the equipment that you're using. You should know how to set it up. I set all this shit up myself. And I'm not even the setup kind of guy. But everything has a learning curve. And if I'm going to do this, I'm going to learn it. I have to educate myself. Because education not only helps you get further in life, but education also protects you. Because if you know more, then you could pay less people to do work for you. You could pay yourself. You see? If I know how to edit and film and produce, then I don't have to pay nobody to edit my videos. I don't have to pay nobody to edit my movie. I can film it, I can edit it, and I can put it out. That adds value to who you are. See? And when you are of more value, people will offer more money for your service or for your product. But you have to understand, brothers, that you are the first product. You have to be able to sell you. Can you convince an investor of who you are? See, because that's what marketing is. You're selling yourself along with the product. So that goes back to what? Having knowledge of oneself. If you don't know yourself, how you going to sell yourself? You're not going to sound too convincing if you're lost, if you're afraid, if you're unsure, if you're insecure, if you're not confident. People are not going to believe what you say. And if they don't believe what you say, you can't motivate anyone. You can't inspire anyone. You can't lead anyone. You see? So when you get the education plus the knowledge of who you are, that's when you start striving toward being successful. That's when you can protect and shield yourself from the things that's coming down the line for us, brothers. See, I'm going to just come out and say it. I'm going to just come out and say it. And this might hurt some of you dudes' feelings, but it is what it is. It is what it is. But I'm going to just come out and say it. Black men, we gotta stop being used to being victims. We have to stop being used to being victims. We do. We have to stop trying and going any which way to say that we're a victim of every goddamn thing. And that there's nothing we could do because systematically we can't do shit. We have to get out of that mindset because that mindset keeps us stagnant. That's fear. And fear ties back to what? Spirit. Fear is a demon. You cannot be afraid and say you want to be successful or be successful at anything. We have to stop being afraid. See, brothers, we have to stop being afraid for taking what's ours, which is back our goddamn lives. We got to take control of our shit. And we have to do it not, hi, can I have my stuff? No. No. We have to show up as men and get our stuff back and take what's rightfully ours. We don't have to be violent. It's called being strategic. That's what it's about, brothers. That's what thinking black men are. Strategic. That is what we have to do. But if we don't understand that right now, we need to be focused on these 4 areas in our life, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. If you've been looking at the news, they are really talking about another lockdown. What are we going to do? Coming out this first lockdown, what is the results? Black men suffered the most. Black men suffered the most. You know how many black men died from COVID itself? A dude I grew up with passed away from COVID. And then I know people that died in the streets from being homeless during this season, during a lockdown season. So why do we think we have time to talk about if somebody's winning or not? Why do we think we have time for that? We should be educating ourselves. We should be learning new skills. Nobody telling you go back to college. Nobody even telling you to go to trade school. You can learn a skill right here on your computer. You can learn how to edit and all that right here. But take that time to educate yourself instead of talking about Brittany Renner. Instead of talking about where the hoes gonna go. Because how is that gonna keep a roof over black men's heads? Huh? If there's another lockdown coming, you dudes need to keep your money in your pocket. You need to keep your money in your pocket if you knew what was good for you. You definitely shouldn't be tricking. Find you a girl, right? Or invest in months supplies of Jergens lotion. And I'm just being real. Because you ain't got, black man, you ain't got time to be tricking. Tricking is foolish for black men at this point. Now, I know some of y'all, well, DS1, you can't say that because, some of us can afford it. Well, listen, bro. To each his own. Do what you do. Just don't come back here complaining. See, if you can afford to be a trick, cool. But don't let me hear you talking about hoes are not winning and you tricking. Because by default, they are winning because you're paying them. Okay? So I'm not here to judge you. Do what you want to do with your money. But see, I'm talking to the black men that got some sense. That's using this head and not this head. Keep your money in your pocket. Keep your money in your pocket. Maybe some of y'all, and this goes back to number one, which is spiritual. Some of you brothers need to practice abstinence because you tricking so much. You tricking so much is destroying you. It's not just destroying you financially. It's not just destroying you financially, it's destroying you spiritually. That's why you can't think past your Johnson. That's why every time you get some money, you on adult friend finder. You on Backpage. Every time you get a check, every time you get paid, your trick expense come out. And then you come on social media and get mad because somebody's saying hoes are winning, but you paying them. You might need to practice abstinence, brother. You need to abstain from that shit. Keep your money in your pocket and abstain. You see? Because when you have a problem with that, that's a demon. Tricking is a demon, man. Because it all goes back to insecurity and the man not believing in himself. You see? And this is why most black men think they can't get out of the rut that they're in. Oh, it's impossible, DS1. How can you just I'm not ignoring no facts. We're men. We oppose environment. We oppose that shit that you talking. We're men. We're not defined by that. I'm not. Neither should you, brother. Because black men supposed to stand out. We're resilient. We're charismatic. That don't mean nothing. That means something to the men that's ready to throw in the towel. That think they can't oppose those things. We can. That is what men do. And the way that we do that is we make sure these 4 areas are being focused on intensely. We need to focus on ourselves, brothers. Ourselves. Us. Our spiritual value. Our health. Our dwelling. Our households. Our households. See, because when you're living in a hellish household, that affects your health. When you are letting demons control your spirit, that can produce physical and mental sickness. Do you understand this, brothers? Do you understand this? Abstinence, Practice abstinence. Abstinence doesn't just mean it just means to abstain from. Like me, I'm learning to abstain from snacks, abstain from chips and coffee cakes and shit. So what do? I'm replacing my snacks with fruit. And then I gotta watch how I go in on that. So when you hear me say abstinence, brothers, we talking about spiritual value. See, because when you abstain from things, in the end, it purifies you. It purifies you. Abstinence is like a form of detoxifying yourself. Some of you dudes need to do this. You got a problem with women charging, right? Then abstain from tricking. Then you have to abstain from trick sex. Then you have to first stop being thirsty so much to have sex. You have to practice abstinence. So you could get your spirit and your health in order. Because some of this stuff is driving dudes crazy. This is why you see dudes killing recently. Another OnlyFans / Instagram chick was just killed by one of her Johns. Men are out here losing their mind because they're dealing with spiritual demons. They're spiritually afflicted. Dealing with these low-level women. That shit will affect your health. And what's coming up for us, brothers? We got to focus on our health. We already know that the pandemic changed us biologically forever. 90% of us got the goddamn shot. I didn't. But most of the people that we come in contact with and deal with, their biology has changed. Health. Learn to abstain. You have to understand this, brothers. It's no longer a game out here. I know y'all probably always hear me say this, but y'all really have to understand how serious it's getting. It's not a game no more. It's not a game. And either you're going to fight or you're going to die. That's it. That's it. Either you're going to fight or you're going to sit there and just let yourself die. That's the only choice. Those are the only choices at this point. That's the only thing. And if we don't focus on these four things, our spiritual, our health, our dwelling, and our education, brothers, we're doomed. We're doomed, especially if we have another lockdown. We're doomed. We're doomed. Because we're not going to know education. We're not going to know what to do, where to go. Our dwelling is going to be jacked up because everybody's in your goddamn house is going to be looking to you for leadership. But you're going to be going crazy because of your mental state. So your house is going to be in shambles. Your health will be in shambles. And this is what they want for us, brothers. See, why do you think spiritual value is number one? That's where they want us stuck. Once they destroy us there, shout out to Sean Perry. He said, great discussion, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your support. We have to understand this, brothers. We have to. Because we are our own agency. You see? We, me and you, we're our own agency. If we don't do it, no one else will. If we don't make sure that we're not exterminated, no one else will. No one else will, brothers. I don't care what you try to make up. We are our own agency. The person that you see on the thumbnail, that's Mutulu Shakur. Mutulu had spiritual value. He had knowledge of self. He had knowledge of self. He taught knowledge of self. He lived that way. See, Mutulu, he followed the 10 life values along with brothers who was down with him. See, in case you didn't know, Mutulu's profession, he was a physician. He was into health. Shout out to all the black doctors. Shout out to Dr. Holman. Shout out to all the black doctors, man. Shout out to Dr. Michelle. Shout out to Dr. Sherry. Shout out to all the doctors. Dr. Adeliki. Shout out to all the black doctors. You know, we don't shout them out enough. You know, it's like black doctors kind of get skipped over. It's like, well, that's just a doctor. No, that's a black doctor. Like, we should cherish our black doctors. They're meaningful to the black community. They're the second most important piece. Shout out to my brother, the Bishop. He said 100, brother, visionaries. A-Game Nation. Salute. Shout out to Larry Vaughn. He said, thank you for real content. Salute, my brother. I appreciate your support. But black doctors, they get, you know, like, oh, that's a doctor. Yeah, a black doctor. A black doctor. Did you grow up with a black doctor? I didn't. How many of us grew up with a black doctor? Right. Shout out to Dr. EVA. How many of us grew up with a black doctor as a physician? How many of us? You know, because some of us just act like, you know, it's just a common thing. No. That's an accomplishment. A real one. That's hard to do. Mutulu was an acupuncturist. If y'all want to know his full history, y'all can check out my Black History Month series of 2017, if I'm not mistaken. The first Black History Month series I've done. Check out the playlist section of the channel. He was an acupuncturist. A lot of people didn't know that about Mutulu, because when we hear Mutulu, the first thing we think about is Tupac. So we go right to revolutionary. Yes, he was that. Yes. But he specialized in the internal and the external. See, because he was a acupuncturist as a profession. He specialized in healing. That's what he specialized in. Healing. Healing. So not only was he fighting for the liberation of black men professionally, but also he fought for the liberation and the life of black men because he cared. Because he cared. He cared about the well-being of black people. You see? Health. Spiritual health. Now we know Mutulu Shakur was Tupac's stepfather. It's his stepfather. That was his stepfather. But he ran his house correctly. That's why Tupac was the way that he was. You know why? Because Tupac was educated. Because of his stepfather. Because of his mother. Education was pushed in that family. You see? All of this was done by a black man, Mutulu Shakur. That black man that you see on my thumbnail with them dreads. He's still living. He's still living. That should show you who we are, brothers. We are meant to stand out. We are meant to stand the test of time. This is why you stand on truth, black man. You don't stand on no goddamn lie. You stand on truth. That's what you stand on. The knowledge of who you are. You a black man. And that's hella valuable. That's hella valuable. You got gold in your blood. You don't need gold chains on your neck. Learn who you are. The knowledge of self. Spirit first. So what you gonna do about it, black man? What you gonna do? You gonna wait for it to get worse? You just gonna keep coming here complaining, finding somebody else to blame? But when you wake up every day, your life is no better. And you know you can't blame nobody. See that? See that adds extra stress to yourself. This is why you need to stand on truth. Because when you start lying and you gotta keep lying and living lies, that fuck up your health. Because you gotta keep telling yourself a lie. That mess with your health, man. That mess with your health. And if you live in a lie and standing on a lie, There's no order in your house. There's no order where you live. There is no order wherever you dwell. Because you carry hell and lies and confusion with you. Because it's in your spirit. Because you stand on it. So wherever you go, it's going to be hell. Because you there bringing lies and confusion. Because you afraid to be the real you. Because you afraid to show everyone, including yourself, just who you are. You're not a gangster. You're a black man. You're a leader. You're not a killer. You're not a driller. You're a black man who was dealt a bad hand, just like all of us. And we're supposed to understand that by now, which is why we shouldn't be partaking in the bullshit that's harming ourselves. Come on, man. At a certain age, we're supposed to realize that because we went through it already. We saw the outcomes of it. Some of us are still seeing it to this day, like me. Some of my friends are still going to prison. Dudes I grew up with still getting killed. So I know how real it is, still. And this is why I stress this to my brothers, man. We are our own agency. We are our own way out of this shit. We just are. We just are, man. We our own way out of this. And I'm here, man. I'm here to help us figure this out. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to my brother, the Bishop, for doubling up. He said this message is changing somebody's life right now. Salute, my brother. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. So I shout out once again to everybody for coming through. Salute to all of the visionaries. Shout out to everybody who supported today's show by hitting the like button, by hitting the share button. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the show. Shout out to everyone who hit the super chat. If you hit the Cash App, I appreciate all the love and the support. If you would like to support, Cash App $SheepStaySleepTV. Cash App $SheepStaySleepTV is where y'all can go. I appreciate y'all for tuning into today's show. Much love to everybody, man. Much love to everybody. DS1 Ross, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, brothers, we got to heal before we build. Got to heal before we build, because we are our own agency. We are our own agency. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
We're A-Game, a 100% Black-owned company with an all-natural product and world-class customer service. We're headquartered in California, and we manufacture, package, and ship right here in the United States. We ship to more than 125 distributors worldwide. Normal processing is 2 to 3 days, and we employ virtual tracking until our product is received. So, no matter where you are in the world, here we come, and we're bringing your A-game.